welcome to today's Launch and Learn session. Today we shall be looking at how to stop POS fraud in Nigeria. Now we shall take our agenda in 3 parts. The first part, we will be looking at weakness in POS system in Nigeria. In the second part, we shall look at 5 step-by-step business process on how merchants can manage POS account with a bank in Nigeria. And finally, in part 3, we shall do a demo on how to use POS Analyzer software to track and recover POS uncredited transactions. So let's look at the first part, weakness in POS payment system in Nigeria. Now, the objective of this presentation is 1, to teach merchants and institutions using POS machine in Nigeria on how to reconcile POS account with our bank, to demonstrate that lack of POS account reconciliation with bank can lead to merchant bank account leakage. We also want to show merchant how they can identify approved POS receipts not credited to their bank account. We want to show the merchant how they can recover monies that were not credited to their bank account due to POS system failure. We want to introduce a simple step-by-step business process on how to manage POS account. We would like to introduce a software that can help manage POS account for merchants and institutions using POS machine in Nigeria. To show business processes merchant can adopt to manage POS account without a software. So even if you don't buy our software, we're going to show you how you can show you a business process you can adopt to manage your POS account. And finally, we want to help merchants and institutions using POS machine in Nigeria put a proper business plan for POS account management and reconciliation with their banks to prevent further financial leakages. Now, what is POS payment system? This is my own definition. It's a method where a merchant provides goods and services to a customer, and the customer pays the merchant using a POS machine in a manner that the merchant only received approved receipts as an assurance for payment, with the hope and trust that the money for that transaction will be credited to her bank account. In doing so, the POS machine generates 2 paper receipt copies, one for the customer who is the buyer, and of course the second one for the merchant. The customer is debited spontaneously while the merchant is credited in a non-spontaneous manner. Now let's look at why your POS machine will generate you 2 copies of receipt. Now the first reason is that the customer is expected to use her copy to reconcile with her bank account that was debited spontaneously. The second reason for the second receipt is for the merchant or the seller or the service provider to use her own copy to reconcile with her bank account to ensure that all POS transactions were credited to her account 100%. Most merchants are usually unable to carry out this reconciliation, and I'm going to tell you why in the next slide. Now let's look at why merchants are unable to reconcile POS account receipts with their banks. Now let's make it very clear. The merchant copy of POS receipt is one valid instrument that the merchant is expected to use and reconcile her account with her bank. Unfortunately, these approved receipts were made to be self-destructive from 2 weeks from the day it was printed. When it gets to the 4th week, the merchant will not see anything written on the receipt. This approved receipt is only evidence of transaction that the merchant can use to hold the bank accountable for uncredited transaction. But unfortunately, these receipts were designed to fail after a short period. This has made reconciliation and accountability very difficult between the merchant and the bank. The bank sometimes use this weakness to defraud the merchant, and I'm going to show you how. So this is a sample of a POS receipt that was printed. You see, after 2 weeks, it becomes faint and faded very quickly, and before you know, you will not see anything written on this receipt again. Now, another reason why the merchant are unable to reconcile their POS account receipt with the bank is over-trusted relationship. Banks are over-trusted by the merchant. That is why most merchants do not reconcile POS account with their bank, either weekly or monthly. They believe the banks are doing the right thing. Another reason that we try to spot out is the high volume of POS daily transaction. Now, the merchants are overwhelmed with high volume of transaction in a manner that it is extremely difficult to track and reconcile POS transaction with the bank. The bank ride on this weakness. There are supermarkets, there are cashing points that the POS transaction on daily basis, they have over 1,000, some have 500, some have 200 transactions per day. So reconciling each of them becomes difficult, with the fact that, you know, the receipts after like a week, after 2 weeks, it started getting faded, and then because it gets faded, you will not be able to see anything written on it again. Another reason why the merchants are unable to reconcile their account is based on the fact that they lack internal system to track POS sales. Most merchants do not have internal business process to track and reconcile POS transaction with the bank. The other reason is that the merchants are ignorant. You know, most merchants don't even know how this POS work. Someone comes into the shop, buy a product, is paid by POS. Once they see approved, they will just release their goods. Now, failure of banks to refund merchants after realizing that there were unsuccessful transactions due to system failure is one reason why merchants are unable to even know that, look, sometimes the system even fails. Now, who is affected by this POS fraud system we're talking about? Any merchant using POS machine in Nigeria is affected. Hotels, supermarkets, salon, barber shop, coffee shops, schools, clubs, malls, airline using POS for ticketing, government institutions, financial institutions, etc. As long as you're using POS in Nigeria and you do not check the POS account, what is credited in your account, there are elements of fraud that you may not know. The reason you don't know is because you've not been checking that account on one-on-one basis. Now, let's look at POS payment method and bank transfer method. Which one is safer? Which one is better for merchants? Bank transfers are safer to merchants because merchants can confirm receipt of payment in account before goods and services is delivered. Whereas in POS payment method, the merchant provides services or delivered goods to the customer once the customer payment is approved by POS machine. So what they look at for, once you see approved, it does not mean that the money gets into your account, okay? So they release their goods. Whereas in a transfer, there are organizations that if they don't see the transfer in their account, they will not provide service. Some POS machine today can give merchant a direct credit into our account, while some are credited later. So there are some POS machine today, you immediately payment is done and is approved, you will see it into your bank account. And there are some that, you know, the credit is done later. Some banks do bulk transfer of POS payment into merchant accounts. This makes reconciliation very difficult, whereas in bank transfer method, merchants are credited per customer per transaction. Now, this is end of part 1. We've been able to look at the weakness in POS payment system as it is in Nigeria today. For more information on how to stop POS fraud in Nigeria, please visit www.posanalyzer.com, and on the menu, please click on Demo Video. You will see all the videos that we have done, all the tutorials that we have done on this subject. Better more, you can search and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Evans Uko. You will see all the videos that we have made and all the tutorials that we have made on this subject. Even the new researches and revelations that we are having about the fraud that is going on the use of POS terminals in Nigeria, you will be able to follow all the discussion. Better still, please WhatsApp me on the number on the screen. And of course, you can also tweet at me. Please share this video to all merchants in Nigeria using POS. Number one reason why you must share this video is to help them reconcile their POS account with their various banks. Number 2 reason is to help them recover their money from the bank from all uncredited transactions. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next edition.